NightCap recap. What up, fellas?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the NightCap recap here for you. Coming up to you, OG. You know where to find us: Instagram, Twitter, wherever. Also, special team media up on YouTube. We appreciate everybody who's been following us on this journey, taking along with us. But you know, your boys are always ahead of the game. I'm Jim Berenger, Teddy Rapantis. We are here getting you ready, talk some more NFL. But like I said, we are talking about Royal Rumble. It's this weekend. Hopefully everything comes out before you see and hear it, and you see the Rumble and it goes down. Cannot wait. And by the way, we know the clips have already been put out. We told you what's going down with AJ. If he loses, you already know we're ahead of the game like we were with Giannis.
Jimmy, always great to be alive. This time on a Friday night, recording the Nightcap recap with you. It is a frigid 8 degrees here in the great state of New Jersey. I know you're down in Florida. You might be in the 60s down there. We'll take that up here. Enjoy that weather because it is frigid cold here in New Jersey, man.
So here's the deal. We got some cold weather coming down here. I don't know what Gary Bettman pulled. I don't know if he's some magician, sorcerer. I don't know, wields a magic wand like Mickey does down there in Disney World. But it's going to be cold for a hockey game on Sunday. I think it's going to be like the coldest it's been since in like 40 years down here. So it's crazy to think like Tampa's going to be in the 40s. But at least there's no snow.
You brought the cold down there, Jimmy, I think.
I mean, I wasn't the only one. The Bruins are coming down. The Jets came down. Like everybody's coming down this way. But it's Gasparilla weekend here. It's going to be crazy. We got Pirates everywhere. Got Pirates in the Rumble, maybe, you know, pimping ain't easy in the Rumble either. I don't know. Godfather, maybe. I don't know.
That would be awesome. Throwback.
All right, but before we get in the Rumble, we got to talk about it. We got to wrap it up. Guys, you saw it. We went live talking about the title games. We're going to put a bow on it all. Obviously, we got the Super Bowl coming up. We'll have Justin come on with us. We'll tee it up again next week. But again, it's about learning lessons. It's about taking the points. And it was a great debate, whether you wanted to agree with Sean Payton, whether you want to agree with what Sean McVay did. You take the points. I'm a take the points kind of guy. I understand where Teddy was coming from. I understand the other side of it. You want to be aggressive. But I'm all about momentum and giving momentum back to another team. And I just didn't like it on both sides of the ball.
Oh, yeah. The take the points debate is going to be something that NFL fans can debate endlessly, whatever side you fall on it, whatever situation. I know football is a big situational sport. A lot of the times, though, you don't want to be chasing points late in the game, especially when you go back and you say, hey, this cost us the game, essentially, at the end of the day. So being in Sean Payton's shoes in the first quarter, we all think he should have taken the points there because you had a backup quarterback. You knew the weather was going to get bad. You didn't know how bad, but you knew that you had two really good defenses. Points were going to be at a premium. That's where you take the 3. On the flip side, Sean McVay, people are railing on him for not taking timeouts in the second half when he had 2 timeouts that he could have taken. They're talking about him not taking the 3 points, cutting it down to a 1-point game. At that situation, I said I was okay. You know, like you said, we did our IG Live. It's all up there. You can hear our debate on it. But my thought was, you know what? If you don't get it, you got him pinned back. But my thought was, if you're going to go for it on 4th there, run it on 3rd down, then pass it on 4th down. They went pass. Too predictable. Seattle was able to drop back and throw Stafford off, and that's it. And then Seattle could just salt the game away after that. So I understand why he did it, because the potential of pinning them deep, maybe getting a punt and changing field position. But at the end of the day, either way you slice it, they lost the game. So
yeah, exactly. They lost the game. It was on them. And it was me personally, I'm kicking the field goal there, make a 1-score game because their defense was holding Darnold at bay right now. Second half, I didn't think Seattle was doing too much. And then Kenneth Walker breaks off that big run, and that was pretty much all she wrote in the game. And then you're just like, oh, momentum, here we go again. It just went back Seattle's way. You had them pinned deep, and you couldn't do anything with it. And again, the Bronco game, you knew that was that kind of game. Like, you know, we're hearing reports. Maybe he went against analytics. Maybe he didn't. It doesn't matter. I don't get it. In that kind of game, field matters. Field position matters in the Denver-New England game. Field position matters, and we're seeing it not only in the NFL, but in the college game. Not enough feel in the game, especially these coaches, veteran coaches that know what's going on. They should know how many points should be. You win more games when you score more points. In that type of game, you go up 10-0, that might be the game.
Yeah, and we probably would have gone to overtime. Who knows the complexion of that game if they go up 10-0. Things are going to be very different if they go up to 2 scores, right? So, and another big game situation in the Seattle Rams game, Cooper Kupp, that big-time stretch for that first down. And he talked about it post-game, and he said, the cardinal rule as a receiver is on 3rd down, you shouldn't be stretching for the first down. On 4th down, it's whatever. You're fighting for your life. And he got lucky there because he was ruled down, and the ball came out, and it was one of those things where they had to review it, and he was lucky that the ruling stood on the field and they couldn't overrule it because there was not enough evidence. So Cooper Kupp coming up with a big play in a revenge game against his old team, who were hearing reports that the Rams kind of like threw him to the trash and said, hey, we don't think you're talented enough anymore. We're going to let you seek a trade. And they kind of just threw him to the side. So this was a big deal for him. And, he's got the relationship with Matt Stafford. But, yeah, and then in the other game, like you said, Jimmy, that 10 points, that might have been all they needed at the end of the day.
We kind of heard weather reports earlier in the week saying it was going to be a snowy second half in Denver. And then nobody did anything in the second half. And look, whether Bo Nix is in there or not, we don't know. We don't know because it was Jarrett Stidham, and Jarrett Stidham looked good. But Sean Payton knows better. He knows better. He's been in too many championship games, and he knows better.
And sometimes he lets his pride get in the way, I think, also.
Yeah, he's a little arrogant, too. He thinks he knows better, and sometimes he doesn't know any better. So now we got Super Bowl 60 set in San Francisco, New England rematch. New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks. We'll dive into it more when we do our preview. All I'm going to say is this. I think I see a lot of people picking Seattle. I see a lot of people saying Seattle's going to run away with this thing. Man, this is the same stuff we were hearing in 2001 when the greatest show on turf was taking on Tom Brady and those Patriots, and everybody slept on a Patriots D that year. Look, to me, don't sleep on a Pats D right here because I think they could. I know Darnold's had a great year and he shut up a lot of critics, but Super Bowl is a different animal.
Absolutely, Jimmy. And I was gonna save the stat. I'll throw it out again when we do our preview. But Sam Darnold is 0-4 in his career against the Patriots. 3 times with the Jets and once with Carolina. Now I know those Jets teams were horrible, so that's understandable. But Carolina, that first year in Carolina, he wasn't looking good either. So let's not forget about that. Hey, he hasn't had good games historically against this team, and be wary of teams that are double-digit or big favorite, maybe like above 6-point favorites in the Super Bowl. We've seen it before. Big spreads, right? The underdog always comes through. We've seen. I'll have that stat for us on our preview. There's been a couple recent Super Bowls where a big underdog, has come back and won the game. So I agree. I think you can't write off New England because of a quote-unquote easy schedule. I hate that. I've threw out the stat on our live about they hold teams under 20 points and under 500 yards in these playoffs. That means something. The Texans and the Broncos were not slouches on defense, 2 of the best in the league. So I think New England has more than a fighter's chance in this. I can't just write in and say, hey, Seattle's going to dominate, although they've looked really good. It's good. I think it's going to be a fun game.
No, it should be a good game. Hopefully this time Seattle runs the ball on the lawn.
Yeah, I mean, the memes, look, the videos and memes have started already of Marshawn Lynch not getting the ball at the 1-yard line, the Pats fans celebrating, the Seahawks fans celebrating. We're going to get that all week. So, it's what I'm loving is so far our boy Mike Vrabel in these press conferences throwing out wrestling references. Talking about, hey, why did you use the Warriors as your motivating video? And he said, well, I ran out of Legion of Doom videos. I ran out of the WWE videos to show the guys to pump them up. I had to put a movie on. So I love hearing that. I can only imagine what videos Vrabel is showing the team in the locker room. It's amazing.
I would love to be in there seeing those. Seeing that. But you mentioned Matt Stafford, right? And look, there's a lot of question marks around Matt Stafford now, whether he's going to retire or not. Look, there was a lot of questions coming in the season about his back and whether or not he was going to be able to play. And he gutted out a big season. And he looked fine, missed the entire preseason, and put up MVP type numbers. Probably going to win the MVP. And then now he could possibly this could be his last game with the Rams and maybe in his NFL career. It could be hard to see him go out that way, but we've seen a lot of guys go out on heartbreaking fashion and that end their NFL careers. Again, it's all about his back. How healthy is his back after this season? I think he's still got one more season left in him, but it all depends on his body.
Yeah, like you just said, I mean, it always comes down to, are you willing to go through one more offseason with these guys as they get older? Can your body hold up? Can you deal with another training camp, another offseason getting prepared? Now, this time last year, well, no, it was getting close to the season last year. If you recall, I think the Rams were giving Stafford the option to seek a trade, and the Giants were actually in the mix. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if it was around draft time.
I remember that.
It might have been around draft time, and they said, hey, if this deal, we're not going to work out a deal for you. You have our permission to look for a trade, and the Giants were talked about, and they weren't sure how his back was going to hold up. Somehow he was able to get through this season without having any other severe injuries to his back. So if he does retire, and McVay didn't like answering this question at the press conference, he kind of ended it abruptly in the postgame.
Well, that's not the time.
I mean, I don't blame him. Yeah, it's not the time for it. But where are the Rams if he retires? Jimmy Garoppolo's there, and you're pretty much looking at, I'm going to have to sign a veteran or trade for somebody or draft somebody. So Stafford holds the key to the Rams' success. And I am with you, Jimmy. You played at an MVP level. I think you have one more in you. I think he's going to come back for one more.
I think so, too. I think so. But you know who's not coming back for one more? Everybody on Sean Payton's staff. Everybody got fired. Dude, everybody got fired.
Yeah. Sean Payton's staff, yeah.
There's fired offensive coordinators, 2 other coordinators. Like, Sean Payton is, like, we talked about it before, arrogant, cocky, whatever it is. And then he's taking shots at Bo Nix, and Bo Nix didn't even play the game. I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, why are you doing this? Your star quarterback basically got injured, played on broken ankle. Reports were you were trying to shoot him up with, like, painkillers to just get him onto the field at some point. He couldn't do it, and now you're taking shots at the quarterback.
Yeah, Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator who got let go, even said it, hey, like, Sean Payton gets in these moods where he just wants somebody to blame, and he takes his anger out on others, and he's like, I was kind of expecting it. It was kind of abrupt out of nowhere, but he's like, I knew it was coming because he was just angry and upset after the loss. But agreed, I mean, Bo Nix didn't play this game, and supposedly it came out that Bo Nix had an ankle injury in high school and college, and Peyton said something to the effect of, well, this guy has a predisposition to get these ankle injuries. And, you know, if we knew that, we would have looked at it in the draft. I mean, that's kind of messed up. That's your potential franchise quarterback. Bo Nix has been done nothing but improve since his rookie year. And Bo Nix kind of shot it down and said, hey, Sean shouldn't have said that. He's like, I'm not predisposed to an ankle injury. It was a freak accident. Just because I've had prior injuries doesn't mean that I'm prone to more injuries. So he didn't take kindly to him.
He really wasn't that hurt in college, to be honest. Yeah. He was on the field all the time. I think his redshirt freshman year he got hurt, but that was it.
Yeah, so for Sean Payton to come out and say that, you just come off a great season. Things are looking great. It's unfortunate you got stuck with a backup. You probably go to a Super Bowl if you don't have a backup, and then immediately turn around and, like, chaotically, we're letting 3 coaches go and we're taking shots at our quarterback. I don't know what he's thinking in that situation, and I don't know what that means for Denver next year. Is there going to be some tension in the locker room, you know, as the team heads into next year?
You better fix it coming off a 14-2 season, 14-3 season, but, like, you shouldn't.
Because Kansas City's going to reload and be ready, chomping at the bit.
Chargers are going to be healthy, ready to go. Raiders should be better. Like, if you're Denver, this time is now to get Bo Nix healthy, get him back in the mix, and get everything rocking. But maybe there's a reason why Sean Payton, like, outstays his welcome in some places.
It seems like it. And look, if they have a failure of a year next year, the hot seat's going to start going for him.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I know Elway would never do this, or no other general manager. But comments like that, I would start thinking about changing the head coach right now.
Yeah, look, they'll probably let it go for one more year. But like I said, if they don't have a successful year next year and build on this, John Elway will start looking elsewhere for sure.
Oh yeah, but that's Sean Payton being arrogant. Like
that's him being him. Yeah,
It's just him being him. Because
listen, this is the guy who was the head of Bountygate. If we all forget about that, right?
And this is the same guy who was coaching New Orleans when New Orleans took a flyer on a guy who was coming off of major shoulder surgery and Drew Brees.
Exactly. And he got a year suspension for that Bountygate stuff, right? I mean, he had to sit out a year. So, and like you said, with the Drew Brees stuff. So, he has a history of some stuff like this, it seems like.
Yeah, it's Sean Payton, arrogant. I know he won a Super Bowl, but it's arrogant, and Bountygate, no good. You don't want that.
Yep.
So when he's eligible for the Hall of Fame, maybe he gets punished for Bountygate.
I know it wasn't in the rundown. I meant to throw it in there, but we should just segue into that now that you said it, because we both put our thoughts out on immediately when the news came down that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer because about 10 or 11 guys in that committee have some personal feelings that he whipped their ass over 20 years.
That's pretty much what it is.
I understand that they have these new. Yeah.
I said it with Andy on the show that we had when we were talking Cleveland Browns. I brought it up because of the Browns connection with Belichick. But I said there's a lot of pettiness in that room. And then then Bill Polian's the head of it. And I know Bill, if I ever run into him, he's going to deny it. But when you come out in interviews originally saying, "Oh, I did vote for him," "Oh, wait, I'm not sure if I did," but I'm not sure, but I definitely voted for Robert Kraft, and maybe Robert Kraft's got something to do with this as well. A lot of pettiness going on. But if you're that petty and you're that mad that a guy kicked your ass for 20 years, then maybe you should recuse yourself from the voting. It's not about. It's not the NFL. I'll make this point again, and I think a lot of people have made this point. The NFL handed out punishment for Deflategate and Spygate. It is not on the Hall of Fame committee to do this. And I know they're saying, well,
thank you, Jimmy. Well said.
They're like, well, it's convoluted the way they vote. Some guys might have thought other guys were going to do it. No. The NFL handed out punishment for Spygate and Bountygate. And if you didn't vote for them because of that, shame on you. Because it's been done with for 20 years. It's over and done with.
Look,
it's over.
Yeah, you said you can't say it better than that. It's not on you to dole out the punishment when the league already took care of it when it happened. And Deflategate to me, I think is a bunch of nonsense.
So do I.
I get it. Okay, if the weather is cool, the ball will naturally deflate. It, the PSIs of a football will go down if you're playing in cooler weather, which they were. I get it that some of the balls were doctored or whatever. But back in the day, a lot of teams were given the game balls the week of the game so they could practice with them and get them game day ready. So whether you took a PSI out of a football, you lost 45-7. That has nothing to do with what happened on the field. You lost 45-7. I just don't get it. The Spygate I could give you because also in the history of the NFL, and we used to do this even in our high school days. You go out and you film the other team's games and now maybe not their practices. You shouldn't be doing that. There's some to that, but you go out and you film their games so you can pick up their signals. It's a thing that goes on all the time. He got caught doing it a couple times. I'll give you that. Okay, that was not good. I'll agree. But the Deflategate, I was like, what is this nonsense? What is this nonsense? So
I don't think Deflategate to me was stupid. Brady should have never been suspended for it. Neither should have Belichick because it's just stupid. Spygate, whatever. Because now more reports are coming out. Oh, he used to I don't know how much of this is true because more stuff people just come down and woodwork saying this stuff. But Belichick used to pay off the maids at the visiting hotel to get the playbook. I'm like, get out of here with that. I'm like, Bill Belichick. First of all, I said if Bill Belichick really needed to do that, then I don't know how he came up with the game plan to beat the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
I mean, unbelievable. And if he's not first ballot, though, looking at his resume, he's first or second in all major categories when it comes to coaching. 330 plus wins, the 6 Super Bowls, the 2 as a coordinator, went to the game 11 times. Everything else that he's done, if he's not first ballot, it minimizes and takes away everybody else that's in there already and any other coach that has been, up for this honor. It just, I mean, if he's not getting in there, then who's capable or eligible to get in there? It just makes no sense. They got to change the system. It's a yes or a no. And for him, it's 100% yes at all times.
Oh, 100% yes at all times. By the way, he took the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs. So
that too.
Let's talk about that. He took a franchise that doesn't go to the playoffs. And obviously, like I said before, he was the orchestrator behind the defense that beat the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25. Was the defense behind that stopped John Elway in 1986, 1987. By the way, coached one of, if not the best defensive player of all time in NFL history in Lawrence Taylor. And Lawrence Taylor is saying stuff about how Belichick's not in the Hall of Fame. Like, come on, that's a Hall of Fame player right there, vouching for his defensive coordinator, and possibly could have been the head coach of the New York Giants if Parcells maybe stepped away a little bit earlier. But I mean, look, and maybe there's some to it that maybe he comes back. I doubt he's coming back because it would have been done already. But he should be in. But I'll say this: I said this with Andy Mack too. If you guys want to hold all that stuff against Belichick, then you have to hold the same stuff against Brady. His first year of eligibility. And what makes it more convoluted is if we all agree it's a conflict of interest, then that should be held against him as well.
Yeah, I listened to you and Andy Mack, and you made great points, and I agree with that. If Belichick's not first ballot, then how is Brady first ballot? And Brady should be first ballot, obviously.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah. How are they? Yeah, how can you put in one without the other? They were tied at the hip for so long. And the fact that Robert Kraft's going in, I don't know. So, it smells fishy that he didn't want to share the stage or the spotlight with Belichick. Look, Belichick's going to get in now. Next year, probably he's getting in. It's just insane that the standards you're holding somebody to on a first ballot. What does it take to be a first ballot? It makes the whole process look cheap, and it makes the whole look bad.
Well, it's a hall of it's not really like, look, there's a lot of worthy players are going in these halls of fame.
Yeah, I agree. They should.
But I've said this for years now. It's a lot of them have turned into Hall of Very Good and not the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No, agreed on that, Jimmy. Agreed on that.
So it's gonna be interesting to see. And I think the Pro Football Hall of Fame came out with like a letter saying like they punished like the voters that like didn't vote them in. And then T.O. went off on it. It's like, yo, what happened to me? That no one liked you, T.O. That's different.
Yeah, but T.O. was held out for 3 years. Another guy that should have been first ballot. I was so mad again with him. That's another guy. Should have been in right away. I know Parcells didn't get in right away. Jimmy Johnson. I love he's come out and he's backing up Bill Belichick has brought the entire sports world together. It's unbelievable. Everybody's agreeing that this is nonsense. And guys that are, hate him or love him are all coming together to be like, what is going on here? And, Jimmy Johnson's coming out and saying, hey, I'm never attending another Hall of Fame event ever again because of this. So I love this. I love it.
Well, it's a bad look for Ken. As Andy Mack said, who was in there, they didn't want to do it to make themselves look like idiots. Well, they've made themselves look like idiots right now. And
you dropped the ball.
You dropped the ball. Belichick should be in first ballot. So we'll see what happens. And I'm glad. Look, I know a lot of Giants fans are going to get on me for this, and the fact that Eli's not going in again this year. Too bad. He's got to wait his turn because outside of the two Super Bowl runs against Brady, his regular season stats were not the best.
Yeah, that's the reason. Look, Eli's going to get in eventually. There's a log jam of guys right now. Drew Brees, much deserved, is getting in there, and Eli's going to eventually get in there. I was okay with him not being first ballot. I don't know when it's going to be, but he'll get in there. But you said it. His career regular season record was not, standing out against the other greats.
I'll say this. I think with Eli, if Plexico doesn't do what he does, and the Giants rip off back-to-back Super Bowls, he's in already. Oh, yeah. Because he's in already, He was having a monster year that year.
Sure, and you're telling me he gets a third? Like, if he's got three, it's no-brainer. No-brainer if you got three and you go back-to-back, no-brainer.
No-brainer for me. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, we stick with the head coaches here because obviously we talked Hall of Fame, but we got to talk some coaching vacancies, some hires right now. We've talked about Todd Monken. Looks like they're mending fences with Shedeur Sanders and Todd Monken. First of all, I want to address this because everybody's out there looking for viral moments. We try to do it the right way, not try to sound like idiots and come off from the highest mountain. Oh, look at us. We just want to we have the stupidest things to say. I'm going to say this. Bad take by Emmanuel Ocho about not listening to Tom Monken if you're Shedeur Sanders. That's the problem with Shedeur Sanders when he was with Colorado and Dion. They think they're better than everybody else. Tell me, what does Shedeur want to listen to that advice in the NFL? He hasn't. Todd Monken's a two-time national champion offensive coordinator. I know he doesn't have head coaching experience, and I think Jim Schwartz should have been the guy with Todd Monken as the OC, like Andy Mack said. But I'm glad they mended some fences. I'm glad they had a little bit of a laugh when it came to, yeah, we were going to draft your ass, like something like that. Like that would have been fun.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But I think Todd Monken will be okay. But I do agree. I think it feels like this is a one and done.
Watching that video of him entering the building, I got the feeling. I see what Andy Mack was saying. I got the feeling of a one and done also. And yeah, agreed. Emmanuel Acho definitely trying to make a viral moment with that, which it's funny if you look at the tweet. It is viewed by like millions of people, but it's not like it's got like 7 million views, but like 800 likes. So that just tells you right there, people are just watching because you're making a clown comment, basically.
Yeah.
And they're not agreeing. So agreed there. If you're the quarterback, your job is to listen to the head coach. Why would you not? Whether the guy has the credentials to be the head coach, his job description is now head coach. His job is to lead you, and you're supposed to listen. And like you said, that's why they got a bad rap over at Colorado, because they were making it seem like, oh, we don't listen to anybody. We do our own thing. It's not how it works in the NFL. Everybody's part of it. It's a team game. It's a whole system, a chain that works from owner to GM to head coach to players on the field. You can't succeed if you don't listen to your head coach. So I did not like that take. I think Monken will find ways to get Shador to be successful. The fact that he wanted to draft him,
Lamar. I mean, we saw.
Yeah, and the fact that he wanted to draft him. Yeah, look, similar. Look, I'm going to say similar talent, but I'm saying running quarterback. Can he work on his mechanics with his throwing? I think Monken can help Shador with that. Whether they have a good year or not, I don't know, but I think he can help him improve his game for sure.
Yeah, well, Monken's got to also stick with running the football too, because that was a highlight at Georgia too. And that was a problem at Baltimore. And that's why I had an issue with him being the offensive coordinator in New York, because if he didn't want to run the football with those guys, then there's a problem there. So, look, I think it's a good thing that he splits from Harbaugh a little bit. We'll see what happens. Joe Brady's staying in Buffalo. I'm not sure I like that hire, to be honest. The more I think about it, I think they should have looked outside the organization, because, like, if this team continues to fail, they're staying with the same guys and the same personnel.
I don't know it doesn't make the Pagulas look good, because the owner came out and talked about, hey, like, first took a shot at Keon Coleman. Well, first Billy Bean, the GM, says one thing. The owner backs him up and says, hey, he didn't really want to draft him. So you throw McDermott and the coaches under the bus. However, Joe Brady, was already your offensive coordinator, just gets the internal promotion. And it's basically the same. You're running back the same thing. You're not making any changes. You came out and said, we're going to make changes because Josh Allen, this is it. It's too many years now that we haven't had playoff success, but you're keeping pretty much everything the same otherwise. So I don't know. I agree. I think I'm with you, Jimmy. I think I would have gone outside of the organization as well to make a splash, especially with some of the guys that were out there. I get it. Josh likes him, said a lot of glowing things about him, but are you really going to make a difference here? You better hire a good defensive coordinator then, because that was a problem for this team.
Right, and also don't forget, this isn't like Tony Dungy getting fired and John Gruden coming in. Like, they're staying with inside the organization. I feel like Buffalo's time in the AFC East at the top is over, just because New England's back, man. Yeah,
I mean, look, they're definitely going to be climbing a hill again. They're not the big boys at the top of the mountain. If they want to claw back to the top, it's going to take a lot of work, because you're right, New England has a young quarterback. And this is also on the general manager too, because they didn't bring in a wide receiver, no wide receiver help for Josh Allen. He had to pretty much do it by himself, find different guys. James Cook can run the football, but defensively couldn't stop anybody. Every year it was about, defense didn't win. Well, guess what? Josh is the one that didn't win it for you this year. And he's the first to admit it. Like, this was the first year Josh Allen in the playoffs looked bad. Yeah, I agree with you. This was his worst playoff game this year. So that's what you have to build on. I don't know if Joe Brady's going to be the guy to do it, and we'll see. You're right. They're bringing more receiver help to help Josh Allen out for sure.
And I'm also going to say I'm not a fan of the Brian Daboll hire down in Tennessee. I don't know what Tennessee is doing. 5 years is a little much for me for Brian Daboll. I wish he got a 3-year deal.
Daboll and Saleh, 5 years.
That's unbelievable, man. Well,
Both New York head coaches now, former New York head coaches are together in Tennessee. What do we think about that?
I don't like it. I don't like it, man. So Saleh's the head coach, right? And Brian Daboll's the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Oh,
right.
And what could
and
go
Chris,
wrong?
I know Kavak not thrilled with it. We could have him on here one day to talk about it, but I thought, you know what? I think it's an improvement to what they had with their head coach. I'll say that.
But I think they got to solve the quarterback problem because I don't think Daboll's going to get much out of Cam Ward.
Well, apparently Daboll, the reason he took this job, look, he interviewed with Philly, with the Raiders. He interviewed pretty much across the league with all the openings. He specifically loved Cam Ward, apparently. So this was his choice to go here because who else was going to take this job? So apparently he believes he could get a lot out of Cam Ward. We've seen what he's done with Jackson Dart. We saw what he did with Josh Allen. So he's got some modicum of success.
Cam Ward and Josh Allen are not on the same level.
No, I'm not comparing the talent. Yeah, I'm saying that, look, if those two guys were good under him, solid, let's see how this works out. I think they're going to be better than what they've had. It doesn't mean that they're going to be anywhere near moving up to another echelon in this league.
No.
They're not going to move from the bottom 5 to the next 5 yet.
No.
But I think if they draft well, Salah's always had a good defense wherever he's at, if he's got the pieces. And maybe Daboll can get something out of Cam Ward. So I'm very interested to see where this goes, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm going to throw this out here. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll not. I know we talked about Minnesota looking at Mac Jones, but maybe Saleh tries to trade for Mac Jones and bring him in and allow Ward to develop a little bit.
Hey, speaking of the Vikings, some news dropped today that the Minnesota Vikings general manager gets fired. He had a press conference yesterday, and he came out. They asked him about Sam Darnold. What are your thoughts on Sam Darnold's success? And he kind of just like tiptoed around it, but for all intents was pretty much like, we went back and we looked at our process. Why do we make this decision to let Sam go? Clearly, we had some thought process that we thought we were ready to move on. He's like, I lay home at night and you sit on the couch and money. You think about, hey, what led you to this decision? Kind of sounded like he had regret and buyer's remorse.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So that's what it sounded like. And maybe he was trying to throw the coach. O'Connell definitely had a say in this. Maybe the ownership wanted to move on from Darnold. Today he gets fired. It's no surprise. They probably like, why'd you say this publicly? And apparently there was tensions all year long in the locker room. So had to do with Sam Darnold at some point, I would think. Right, Jimmy?
I mean, to quote the great Bobby the Brain Heenan and Mr. Perfect from the greatest Royal Rumble 1992 Flair promo, we're not the kind of guys to say we told you so, but we told you so.
We told you so.
We told you so. Like, we told you so that Sam Darnold leaving Minnesota would be a bad idea. We said pay this man his money, even if it was a 1-year deal. You knew what you had with Darnold. Justin Jefferson's numbers went down. The team looked awful. You're having a J.J. McCarthy coming off an injury to be your guy. Didn't like it. Didn't like it then. Still don't like it. I knew it was. We both said it. You just should have just paid Darnold, man.
Jimmy, I think we talked about this for over a year on this program. I think as the season was ending last year, like even in the middle of it, we're like, I think you got to keep Darnold here. I think like we were both saying it. So for over a year, we've been pounding the drum on this one, and especially you, because we all know your thoughts on J.J. McCarthy. And you don't believe he's a good quarterback. So clearly they made the worst decision ever, and now they're tiptoeing backwards. They're trying to backpedal here. They're hurting their hips backpedaling, saying, hey, you know what? We were ready to move on to McCarthy. Now the GM's gone. Now you got to find another general manager. And now what's going on with your quarterback? Because Justin Jefferson, I'll tell you this, ain't going to be happy on the sidelines. You're going to see the diva come out. He's a good, well-mannered guy. You're going to see the diva come out real soon, and I wouldn't blame him.
No,
if it's another year like he had.
Best wide receiver in the game, and he ain't getting the ball.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
Trade. See ya. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked behind closed doors. He's really been like pounding that drum, like saying, "Hey, you know what, guys? What are we doing here? Like, if we can't get a quarterback in here, you got to put me on a team where I could be useful right now."
Yeah, and the Minnesota did play tough at the end of the year. They finished third in the division ahead of Detroit. I think they won a couple games late, like on the back of Brosmer, and the defense played well. That just shows me that if Sam Darnold was the quarterback for this team, they probably would have been right up there with Chicago as the leaders of this division again. So Minnesota dropped the ball.
They would have been a 1 seed in NFC.
They would have been in the playoffs for sure. I know Chicago was up this year, and so that's an interesting thing to say. But you who knows how good Seattle would have been, right? So you take one team out and you put Minnesota in. Darnold would have had this team in the playoffs, I think.
100%. And now we're still waiting on. So you said looks like Kevin Kubiak's going to take the Raider job.
Yeah, Kubiak seems like he's going to be the guy with the Raiders. It's either the Raiders or the Cardinals, but Raiders are the heavy favorites. They've got to wait for the Super Bowl to be over. Arizona, I have no idea what the hell they're doing. I haven't heard anything about what's going on out there of any head coaches interviewing or anything like that. So they're stuck. But Kubiak's going to be the Raiders coach. We talked about pretty much all the rest of them. McCarthy with Pittsburgh. Yeah. What do you think about that, Jimmy?
That's a 2-year. That's two and done from McCarthy in Pittsburgh. That's
done.
That's not the Steelers style, man. They get somebody young and they keep them there for like 20 years.
Do we think Aaron Rodgers now is going to return because of McCarthy being?
No.
That's what we heard, though. That's the rumor that Rodgers will be open to coming back if McCarthy's there. So
Rodgers looked old, slow, and couldn't move in that playoff game against Houston.
I know.
They looked bad. So all right. So let's just play hypothetical. McCarthy goes right. Rodgers comes back. Them and McCarthy team up. Could be the same situation under Tomlin come playoff time, because that's what it was during Mike's tenure at the end in Green Bay. They get in, they look great, and then in the playoffs they look like garbage.
And his tenure in Dallas too.
Yeah,
Dallas got in the playoffs, choked to the Niners because of clock management. So
right, so it's going to be the same thing. And I think Pittsburgh in a couple of years could be looking for another head coach. Yeah,
this doesn't scream long term or more than 5 years, but it's cool. Pittsburgh guy back home, good for him. But quarterback's going to be an issue there for sure.
They got to get a quarterback. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers because he's going to take his time with this decision, and you can't wait till training camp for a decision.
It's what he does every year. Either he's in Egypt or he's in the dark hole. It's one or the other.
Yeah, well, is he watching the Royal Rumble in that dark hole?
I don't know. He should be, though, because there's a lot of things going on in the Royal Rumble.
It's going to be a great Royal Rumble. Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about the Rumble. We got, first of all, shout out to my guys, Sean Campbell, Simon Salikis, and Rob Peterson for asking me my Rumble pick. I'm sticking with Braun Breaker. I don't know when he's going in. Don't care. Don't want to know when he's going in. I've read some spoilers. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. So, he's my pick to win a Rumble. The men's side anyway, and I think it's going to be a great Rumble, and I think Gunther's going to be AJ, and I think AJ's WWE career is going to be over.
Yeah, let's start there, man. I mean, look, I said it last week. We were texting about it, and I said, hey, Jimmy, I just got a hunch that I don't think AJ is just going to call it a career this soon into the year. I know he said 2026 will be his final year. We're not going to get the tour like Cena got.
No.
He's been wrestling these really good 5-star matches over the course of the last 6 months, so maybe that's been part of it. Secretly, we don't know about it. But I think the fact that he came out on SmackDown and said my WWE career, I think he's working something with Pierce behind the scenes that Pierce is going to put in the contract that just in case AJ does lose, his WWE career is over. We'll see him appear in the Impact Zone a little bit after that. Because if you notice on the first episode of the Impact Zone, which Jimmy and I are on the commercial, everybody,
don't
you have to look out on AMC. AMC, tune in. You probably see us about 10 times a day on that commercial. But anyway, if you remember, he had face-to-face with Santana and Kazarian. So that tells me they're teasing something with Santana and Kazarian, that whoever ends up as the world champ, AJ is going to have something to say about it and maybe want to wrestle one of those guys. Now, maybe he has a little run here in TNA, and maybe he'll come back in December and be like, I got one more in WWE, and they find a way to, get him to do one final match in WWE. But I think we're getting a TNA run, so give me Gunther, maybe in a controversial finish. So AJ has a gripe maybe later in the year to come back for one more run.
Unless they complete swerve everybody and it's some controversial finish. If
AJ wins, I'll love that. Yeah, I'll take an AJ win.
because apparently they're teasing now. Again, we don't know what's real and not real when it comes to
Yeah, we
matches
don't.
being booked at WrestleMania. But like some stuff is talking about CM Punk, Finn Balor, AJ Styles triple threat for the world title. I mean,
Then give me that. Give me
give
that.
me
Let
that.
AJ beat Gunther then.
Or you say bringing the TNA guy into Mania.
Right, and AJ wrestles a TNA guy on one of the nights, right?
Yeah, like
We
he's the
could do it.
TNA.
Look, Joe Hendry was there last year, right? Joe Hendry
So
is
you
TNA
who
champ.
says yeah, exactly. So you could say bring AJ in from TNA to have his moment at WrestleMania.
I'm with it. So I'm gonna go prediction. No, I'm gonna go Gunther. I'll stick with that.
I
But
think they're building it up because I think they're gonna get
yeah,
to a point. This is me now, and we probably could clip this down the road whenever it happens. But this is me. I think they're gonna set up Gunther when Randy decides he's gonna call it a career. The Legend Killer against the Career Killer. That's gonna be the match.
yeah, I'm with you on that because along the way, look, he's gonna collect AJ and he's gonna take out Lesnar probably later this
Right.
year. Right. And then so when Orton's ready to go, which it seems like Orton doesn't have an end date in sight right now, which is great. But Jimmy, we're gonna be clipping this. I think I agree with your prediction there for sure.
That would be sick. World title match. I think Drew's gonna win. I think he's gonna win the title, keep the belt, WB title. Good on Sammy for wrestling in Saudi Arabia for the shot at the belt. Should have won the title from Roman at that. No
Is there
way
any
out.
world where Drew drops the belt to Sammy here? Any world where that happens?
I could see it. There's always a possibility, but I think they got to give Drew. He just beat the face of the company for the title. Like I think you got to give him a run for it.
Yeah,
So,
and this is all contingent on. I guess we'll see how they order the matches. Is the men's going to main event it? I'm assuming this world title match is going to be before the men's rumble. So depending on who wins this, maybe we could predict how we think the rumble will play out. I really don't know. The one good thing with this year is I think there's a number of possibilities for the men's rumble that could win it, and a number of stories that we could get out of it. But I'm with you. I think Drew Mack just beat the face of the company, deserves a decent run here, at least 2 Mania, or maybe just even to the Chamber, loses it in the Chamber or something. Either way, I think Drew Mack deserves the victory here. I think he'll get it also.
yeah, but me personally, I think he should go to WrestleMania as a champ. To be honest,
I'm okay with that.
If I'm booking it, like, because again, get us on Unreal, pay us the money, and we'll show you how to book wrestling events. Because clearly, no one else knows how to do it. It's not this complicated. Really isn't. They're making it overcomplicated and make the product bad. But I think Drew should keep it to Mania, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, Women's Rumble. Who you think is going to win it? I feel bad for. I'm going to shout out right here because we don't like to say this kind of stuff on here, but I feel bad for them wrestling in that attire. It's going to be hot as anything.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely 100%. I'm with you on that. It seems like the consensus favorite and on the booking stuff is Liv Morgan. Maybe they want to set up Liv and Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania. I'd be okay with that. I'd kind of be more into like maybe throw a curveball and get like someone you wouldn't expect. Like I'd be okay with the Roxanne Perez winning it, and then there's some tension in the Judgment Day with her and Liv that she won it, and Liv is jealous. I feel like you could make Roxanne Perez that way.
I think you could do that, or I was thinking about Raquel Rodriguez too. Like if she wins it, like a Diesel Shawn type thing, like
yes. Anybody outside of Liv, either of those two winning it and do a little tension, you could build that up to Mania and Liv gets jealous and costs the other one the match or like injures her or something like that. There's so many good stories you could do with the Judgment Day because I feel like since Liv got back, like I kind of love what they're doing now. They're really good at playing that role, all three of them. It's a great trio. Keep it going as long as you can, but I think that would be cool to create some tension. So I'd be okay with like a Roxanne Perez. Outside of that, look, I don't think like we're gonna get another veteran win here. Like I can't see a Bailey or a Charlotte or an Asuka pulling this out. I think it's time to go with like somebody fresh and new. Perhaps also look, Bianca's another one that's been rumored to be returning. Is she gonna come back and win? So for me,
I hate the return win. Like you come back to the Rumble and win. Cena was different.
I'm gonna go Roxanne.
I like that pick. I like Roxanne. I think Raquel could win. I think Julia could win. I think that would be another good one for them to do something with. I just don't see a veteran winning here. I mean, I would be okay with like Alexa Bliss winning it because it's been a while.
It's been a while for her. Yeah.
But I think it could be. I think it's one of the three out of the Judgment Day. And
that's a smart pick.
I think for me, I would go Roxanne Perez too.
Yeah, like it makes too much sense, right? Like it
makes too much sense. The booking will be perfect.
It would, because you would get tension from the other two women in the group, and jealousy,
especially if they're the final 3 of 4, and and there's an accidental elimination of Liv somehow.
Yep.
Like I think that would be.
And then you get Dominic coming back from his injury. He could get involved and be like, hey, I know Liv's his quote-unquote girl, but now Roxanne won, so he's kind of like leaning to her. So there's a lot of stories you could play out with this thing, I feel like.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. Men's Rumble. You heard my pick. I think Braun Breaker's winning the thing. I think he should win it. But there's a lot of options here, too, depending on how they book the world title matches. I mean, it feels like everybody has said it's CM Punk, Braun Breaker, but I don't know.
Jimmy, I'll go different than you just to say I'm different, but I'm in my heart, it should be Braun Breaker. I agree. I think Braun Breaker proved that he can hang with CM Punk on that match they had in the opening Raw of the 2026 year in Brooklyn. That match was specifically to see if Braun Breaker can hang with the big boys and wrestle a main event style match, which he proved it. He can. And I think that's all leading up to, with what's been going on with Adam Pearce and the Vision and all that, that's setting up to him going on a tear in the Rumble, maybe setting the eliminations record, breaking Lesnar's record or something like that. Unless they want to save that for old. Yeah, Lesnar's in it.
Lesnar's in the Rumble, so.
And Obafemi's probably going to be in this too. Maybe he does it, but Breaker should be the one to win this thing and main event against CM Punk for that World Heavyweight title and win it there. If you're telling me that, hey, Rollins got hurt, we're expediting. We said this when Rollins got hurt. We're expediting the Braun Breaker push. We're not waiting another year. We're doing it now. This is the time now. You're not going to wait till 2027 to pull the trigger on Breaker. He's going to cool off too much. This is the time to do it. So I think my brain. Yeah.
Because clearly LA Knight cooled off.
Yeah.
Or did he?
No, he never did. He never did. And LA Knight's going to be a surprise in this Rumble. He's going to get a great pop, and he's still not going to win this thing. God damn it.
Yeah, I know, because Triple H doesn't like him.
No, and all right, so I'm going to go opposite of you.
So what do you think? Surprises?
Yeah. Jericho, do you think Jericho shows up?
Maybe. That's a maybe.
By the way, the closer it's getting, the less I believe it. The less I believe it.
So Andy Mack wrote an article for Sporting News. I want to throw this by you. He put up 5 reasons why Jericho shouldn't go back to WWE. And one of them was his creative control over his character. The way he changes everything. And he has more freedom to do things outside of WWE. There's still a real rivalry between him and Triple H. That's
actually smart. Yeah.
Like, do we need another veteran retirement tour in WWE?
I mean, it seems like, look, I know we all know Jericho eventually was going to come back to get his quote unquote last match plus his Hall of Fame run. We know that's going to happen. But it seems like we're getting so many back-to-back now. It's just going to be a lot of guys that are calling it quits here. So I agree with Andy on that point that he said, that first one you said, creative control on his character, right? Because I feel like with AEW, he could do whatever he wants. TKO and Triple H and these guys, seems like they're much more restrictive nowadays with what's going on with the creative. So I agree with that. The closer we're getting to it, the less I think it's going to happen, but maybe that's just a good job of them keeping it under wraps. So
we saw that with Edge because it was all quick crickets before he debuted.
Right. So I hope so. So I'm going to go with Roman's another favorite in this one. Cody's in it. I mean,
is Rollins showing up? Is Rollins going to show up?
Rollins is another one. Is he another guy that's a surprise? Jey Uso ain't winning this thing back to back.
Jey Uso is definitely
not.
So
for the sake of being different, I'll just say Roman's going to win because apparently that's another possibility. Now, if Roman wins, what championship is he going after? Because we still got the Chamber. Does Roman have unfinished business with CM Punk because he said, hey, that title will look good on me? Or does he go after Drew McIntyre? We don't know.
I mean, I take CM Punk Roman Reigns because I think that would be like we talked about it last year. Like I'd love to see that too. As much as we like the triple threat, it could have done a singles between any of those guys.
Absolutely. You could have done. I wanted Roman versus Rollins, to be honest. But
yeah, so did I. So we'll see what happens with that. Will we get surprises like 02? No, because I thought those were great surprises like in 02. Like, are we gonna get the youngster that comes in like Carlos Colon and 93?
We were talking about this Yumi Foot and some of the guys, and I was just going through some of these rumbles and the most random wrestlers that were in like Dory Funk was in a rumble, Ten Ryu, Max Moon, like the most random guys were in Royal Rumbles. Like you don't get that nowadays because it's all star-studded. But I mean, like those were what great days for Gorilla Monsoon to call.
Wasn't Dory Funk in the 97 Rumble?
No, Dory Funk was in 90. I want to say
95, right?
He was in there.
Dickie Murdoch was in 95.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize. Dick Murdoch is what I meant, and he made it. He was there pretty late with Sean and Luger, right? And that year,
it was like Final Four. Yeah, it was like Final Four for Dick Murdoch. I'm like, why is Dick Murdoch here this late?
Yeah, Dory Funk was in one of them. You might be right, 97. I could be wrong on that, but you don't get that anymore, man. I mean, I would love to hear the Repo Man's music for one of these. Imagine Repo Man appears.
Imagine, that would be great. I mean, that would be awesome. Like, that's the surprises we want. We don't want we know we're gonna get some NXT guys, maybe Ricky Saints, somebody, I don't know. But
Obafemi's apparently gonna debut here. They're probably gonna make a big deal out of it and give him a big spot.
Trick will be in the Rumble.
Yeah.
But like,
by the way, Trick, two guys, let's shout them out here. Trick Williams and Trick Williams and Kit Wilson. That have taken off. Kit Wilson with his theme song, probably going to have a good spot in this Rumble. And Trick Williams, who super over with the European crowds and even in Canada. I mean, whoop that Trick. Great on the mic. That's a future superstar. I'm loving the fresh new talent. I've kind of liked how they've been introducing guys. It's not just, everybody's showing up after Mania. We're going to do 1 week at a time. They're a free agent. So they're spreading them out a little more. Those two guys are going to get good spots here in this Rumble, I think.
Yeah, I wonder who gets the Diesel spot.
I think it's going to be Obafemi, and I think Lesnar's going to run into him, and we'll have a showdown with those two, I think.
Oh, I like that. So it's going to be good. Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the afternoon. Some of us will have it on at the practices at the Stadium Series when they go on. Some of us will put the Royal Rumble on because we have to talk about that. Let's shout out our other guy, AEW debut, Tommaso Ciampa. Oh, yeah, baby. Tommaso Ciampa, baby's back. Where he belongs. Listen, I know AEW's lost a lot of its luster. It's not the same as it was. I think it's great that there's an alternative that wrestlers can still go to if they're feeling that, hey, creatively, and there's a glass ceiling in WWE, I can't go any higher. Let me spread my wings and be a little more creative and do my thing. I know AEW ain't up to par anymore, but I don't care. The way he was presented on Wednesday night was looking like a main eventer. Whether they drop the ball or not, that's to be seen. But at least he's somewhere where he can, wrestle some really cool matches against guys we haven't seen him wrestle in a long time or never. We can get Ciampa and Adam Copeland now. We're gonna get Ciampa and Briscoe. That he has a lot of history with ROH guys in that company. So I'm happy for Ciampa because that's a guy that I feel like WWE dropped the ball with. That could have been a guy that should be a main eventer. He was a killer. He was a killer in NXT. He was a black killer. And gold, the golden era. Everybody who's come from the black and gold era says that was the best time for NXT. That was the best, most watchable 5 years of wrestling for a long, in WWE for the longest time. That was the only watchable program. So only watchable program. Shouts out to Ciampa. We're 1/2 away of getting the FTR DIY rematch if Johnny Gargano jumps ship. Because I think he might jump ship too. I think he's going to jump ship. That's just me. Yeah. So if we get that, and you're going to give me FTR and DIY tag matches again on AEW television, I'm cool with that. And that's how you get the spark lit. So going to be awesome to see the Rumble this weekend. Again, we get Super Bowl tee-ups next week. It's going to be solid with, the NightCap. By the way, shout out for finding clips from May of 2025 on Giannis. Yeah. Because we're ahead of the game. As always, we said Brooklyn Nets, Giannis. We talked about it. And now everybody's saying, the Nets could. They're seriously pushing for Giannis. Well, we told you. We told you. We told you already. We've been saying Jimmy, this. You're the best with the clips. Shout out to Jimmy B for getting the clips ready every single time. Every time. Guys, NightCap Recap, a place to be. Follow along for us. Find us in the Sporting News and Andy Mack's articles. He's been throwing us in there. shout out to him. Guys, up on Special Team Media, like, subscribe, comment, enjoy. Jim Berenger, Teddy Rapantis. Guys, take care.
Peace.